Welcome, everyone. My name is Judith Silverman Hodara. I'm a past acting director of admissions at the Wharton School of Business and currently a founder and director at Fortuna. I'm really happy to be here today with Catherine Tuttle.
Hi, Catherine Tuttle here. I'm an expert coach with Fortuna and spent 5 years at Duke University's Fuqua School of Business as an associate director there, and excited to talk with you today.
What we wanted to chat about today was, after you've pressed submit, now what? So for those of you that are getting ready to press submit or have already submitted to some of your earlier schools, it can be a pretty long 5 weeks before you hear from your schools about whether or not you've been invited for interview. We wanted to give you some tips and ideas for what to do while you're waiting, how to continue to enhance your profile, and to prepare should you get that interview invitation in a few weeks coming up down the road. Catherine?
Yeah, so first, I think, congratulations. That was a huge accomplishment. You got it done. So much work, so many late nights. Take a night off or 2 nights off. There's nothing wrong with that. Get some sleep, right? You're probably lacking in that area. So, do celebrate, do give yourself that time. But then it's really important that you continue to show interest in the school and continue to kind of touch base with people that you've already networked with at the school, current students, alumni, and potentially reach out to some new people to continue to build those relationships. Oftentimes if you mention specific students in your essays, which is quite common, admissions can talk to those people. They might look back and say, hey, I see you've been talking to some prospective students, and you want to be top of mind if and when that happens. So that would be, one thing that we want you to do, as well as touch base with your recommenders. Give them a heads up that you've submitted, and give them a timeline, and maybe review some of the points that they felt like were important in their recommendation, which could probably help you as you're prepping for your interview.
Another piece of advice would be, although it seems like now is kind of the time to lay back a little bit, you really want to keep your professional development and your extracurriculars on top of mind. And this is why. Sometimes you'll be asked in an interview, well, what's different since you applied? Have you had any developments? Has anything changed? And it's really nice to be able to say, yes, I've been very involved in this leadership opportunity at work, or yeah, the board that I'm involved with has been able to do X, Y, and Z. It's been really fulfilling for me, or I've continued my mastery of Portuguese. Whatever it is that you do, you want to be able to keep those things going. Another reason this is important is kind of one you might want to not think about right now, but for those of you that are waitlisted, ultimately, it is great to have additional information to share with that waitlist committee. So you want to keep those wheels going as much as you can with other kinds of opportunities, in addition to kind of giving yourself a chance to enjoy the things that you like doing outside of work and to keep yourself engaged. Clearly you've applied to business school, you're thinking about leaving your current firm or your current company, but while you're there, it's not a bad idea to kind of, keep in the mix and to really continue to feed yourself professionally as you wait to hear from the schools. And something else that Catherine's going to mention is kind of keeping up with the research and the goings-on of the schools that you're targeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so making sure that you are still engaged, that you understand any big developments that happen, that you're continuing to hone in on that, why this school, which is such an important interview question, when you get to that process. So making sure that you're piped in, that you know what's going on, that you're connected with students and alumni, and starting to really prepare and practice those answers. Oftentimes students and alums are really great at giving you feedback and ideas as to how they approached certain questions. They might share some questions that they got and how they answered them. And it's really important for you to use this time to start thinking through that and starting to make some notes on how you might approach some of these key questions that we know you're going to get, like, walk me through your resume, or why business school, why now, why this school, that type of thing. Obviously, if you're working with us, we'll do a mock interview, But if you've practiced on the back end, that time is even more maximized.
And the last piece of advice we have is if you have the time to go and visit the schools that you've applied to, not a bad time to do that. We know that time is short, and that certainly resources are an issue. But if you have the opportunity to take a weekend or a day off and go spend some time on a campus before you hear about the interview invitation, that's yet another way to really imbue your interview experience with a sense of the place and you've gotten familiar with it, and you're not sort of walking into a situation cold. If you're going into an interview, that you feel comfortable and confident as you prepare.
Yeah, that's such a great point, because so often, clients are visiting the campuses over the summer, and while it's a great time to meet admissions and kind of do those formal campus tours, you're not interacting with students in kind of that crazy fall time where the energy's there and the professor, you can sit in on a class. So it really is a great way to prep for that next step in the process.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to being in touch with you as you go through your process. Again, I'm Judith Silverman Hodara and Catherine Tuttle. Thank you so much for being with us, and have a great rest of your day.